pursuit of enriching themselves using these political fiefdoms as mechanisms to extort businesses and lie to our people. So these are the things, like, I would not want to speak about them, but we can characterize them as they are. We know that the EFF is a personal project. We know that Mkhonto Wesizwe is a family project that is centered around Jacob Zuma and his kids. Decisions are taken in a dinner table.
So we won't see that with who's the brother of Floyd, Brian. We won't see that.
No,
he will be the deputy appointed.
Like, and you know, in my boy, because we believe in democratic centralism, where we constructively engage. In particular, when it comes to appointments and all of those things, we sit like this in a boardroom and screen the profiles of people, and we get to speak unto their names. There's no one who comes with a tailored list from a toilet somewhere and says that I want Kia to be a leader.
Or you were scrutinized.
You are, I'm
saying you. They assessed you.
And everyone is given an opportunity to, contribute in terms of the broader question, which speaks to the responsibility that the organization has identified that you need to play. So there's no.
President.
Greetings.
Bunjani?
Shabuthi, how's it?
I'm Nandi.
Good. Yes.
Now, what are you tasked with in the organization? We'll get to the introduction just quickly.
Yes. Tasked with fighting the capitalist establishment.
Okay.
Going aggressive in the mines, in the banks, and all strategic sectors which get to drive economic growth in our country. Precisely, of course, also speaking to the unemployment struggle or the crisis that affects millions of the young people spread across our townships, our villages, and our communities. So, of course, we're given that responsibility to, be the voice of the voiceless, to speak on behalf of young people, those that have went to school, those that are captured by drugs in our communities, our sisters who are subject or victims of gender-based violence in our townships, in our communities and universities. So we're given that responsibility to, go aggressively against the white Afrikaners as well, who get to propagate lies about white genocide in South Africa, the killing of white farmers to the American government. And so, we're tasked with that responsibility of maintaining our posture as black young people, because we personally hold a view that amid all the challenges that confront the people of South Africa, young people must have a voice. You can't be a young person in our country when there is a crisis of immigration, of unemployment, of potholes, of the instability in our municipalities, in our universities, the crime, the scourge of drugs, alcohol abuse in our communities, and you're a young person, you don't have a say in those particular issues. So young people, of course, must have a voice. I think South Africa now, the people of South Africa have seen the effect that for the past 8 years, the government of the day, of course, which I'll not want to mention its name, So as young people, we must have a voice, and we must be able to speak onto the issues that affect our people on the ground.
Yeah, and for sure, you sit in the top leadership, and what are the discussions on coalition? Because we're going there, I'd like to believe.
We are going to take over all municipalities outright.
Yeah, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, so I think that is the discussion. Yeah, we're not going to co-govern with anyone else.
Yeah, it's fine. Well, when that situation then comes, it's a hung municipality. Well, what's the story?
We're taking all municipalities outright.
Okay.
We are taking them outright. We've not tapped into a discussion which speaks into coalition, because we personally also hold a very strong view about coalition government. as in its current configuration,
Yeah.
the instability, which speaks to what you are speaking
Yeah,
onto,
yeah,
that you get the situation where municipality gets to hang,
Yeah.
a mayor gets to be reshuffled, like in less than 7 days.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a
yeah,
mayor,
yeah, yeah,
MMCs get to be. So
Yeah.
we've not tapped into that discussion because I think our primary objective now is to win these municipalities outright, such that we govern 100% and deliver water and jobs to our people.
Yeah, and then Ekurhuleni, are you contesting? Not you per se, but the party, is it contesting?
We are contesting all municipalities, all district municipalities in
metro-
Gauteng,
and
Tshwane,
metros,
and Metro.
ne?
Is
Okay.
Johannesburg.
Yeah. What went
Tshwane.
wrong Ekurhuleni? Because I hear ukuthi there's even high possibility ukuthi people won't be paid salaries.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear that like they are hanging on a tight spot. Yeah.
It's actually the looting of the public funds that are meant for basic services for our people. So we personally hold a view that government, because the discussion now is no longer about the money itself or the budget allocation, because I know people would say that in Ekurhuleni there was a budget approval of 70.3 billion rands. But what we are saying, our argument is that what oversight mechanisms are there that oversees that revenue, which gets to be redirected to personal pockets of ANC politicians, because I think that is what we must say, that the instability in Ekurhuleni is as a result of the institutionalized factionalism of ANC politicians who have captured that municipality. And I don't want to speak about the others as well, because they are also subjecting our people into bucket toilets here in Ekurhuleni.
Okay.
The Red Party is subjecting our people here in Ekurhuleni with bucket toilets. So we personally hold the view that the resources which were meant to or are supposed to deliver or speak unto the basic services, like the potholes, like Mangizalana, I almost got a puncture because of the potholes as a result of the ANC government that is currently co-governing the seat of Ekurhuleni with the DA. So, and by the way, Ekurhuleni has enormous economic potential as well.
The airport is here.
Yes,
a big airport.
yes, to change the lives of our people. I mean, the mines are here, the industrial parks are here, the aviation, like you've just mentioned, the airport is here. There's a major transport corridor. Businesses as well here in Ekurhuleni, which has potential like to deal with the unemployment crisis. And that is why we are going aggressively now in the private sector, because we have taken a posture that the job struggle cannot left alone to government. It cannot only be the responsibility of government to deal with the unemployment crisis in South Africa that affects young people. But the private sector must also play a role. Because if we want to bring a historical context to what I'm saying, the white minority gets to benefit the minerals of this country at the expense of our people who are subjected to drugs and alcohol. If you go to communities like Tembisa, you go to Katlehong for Sloras, you just walk the corridors of our clinics, our public hospitals, precisely where these companies get to organize themselves, you'd be shocked to realize the state of our public institutions. So we are saying that the private sector must not leave the responsibility of creating even business or economic opportunities for our people on the basis that they say that we pay government, we pay our taxes,
and
then
everything.
at the end of the day.
But my guy, there's a lot of political parties speak that language, which minerals are being taken, there's no beneficiation, the land to us, socio-economic and what. What makes you different from them?
So what makes us different is the...
the ANC says the same, Colin says the same.
So what makes us different is that we don't impose solutions to the people. We don't impose ourselves to the people. So we've taken a posture as an organization that in order for us to respond effectively to the challenges that confront our people on the ground, you must go and listen to them.
Yeah.
You can't go to a community and come with a tailored-made manifesto, for example, that speaks to jobs and potholes, whereas we have not listened to the people and what directly affects them.
A superior logic.
A superior so-called logic. There's no such a thing. So we are a listening organization. The proposed solutions that we currently that I'm currently speaking unto now are the direct contributions of the listening sessions that we are constantly engaged on with the people. So when I speak about the minerals in a mine, I come from a consultation process with the people who are directly affected by the mine that gets to organize themselves in their community. When I go and say that, but you are mining coal here, and how many local people have you empowered who are residential people who stay within the vicinity of this mine? Because directly or indirectly, your operations in this mine directly affect these people. How many young people have you employed as a mine? How many young people are given proper and sustainable economic opportunities?
Why should we employ them?
Because you must, and this is what
and, and when they define that thing, 30% of giving back to the community, even Nuktenga in the tuck shop, it's still in that percentage, even buying petrol to the local garage. So why should you choose for me how I should utilize a percentage yam?
No, we are not saying that. In actual fact, our mines, they have what we call SLP, social labor plans, which speak to the corporate social investment that they are, what do they call this? That they are obliged to do for members of that particular community. So it's not a 30% extortion type of a creative way of getting the people to respond. But on principle, we are saying that if you have organized yourself as a PTY LTD and you get to generate revenue where your kids have the privilege of going to private schools, redirect those resources and assist a girl child who does not have school shoes to go to school. Assist a girl child who does not have sanitary and dignity packs to go to school. Let your revenue speak unto the broader interests of unemployment in that particular community. Do not say that I pay government money to deal with this crisis and therefore I can drive a Maserati in a community that is subjected to thousands and thousands of potholes.
No road.
You can't say that I'm a businessman and I give government money and therefore our people must be subjected to the bucket toilets. Go to the people and say that as a company, how can I better assist you? If I can ask you, over the past 10 years, where have you ever seen a new university being built here in Ekurhuleni?
No.
The ANC has been pompous about that, but I even saw the...
Ekurhuleni is west.
I would even don't like speaking about other political parties because we don't like speaking about what the other people get to do. It's fine, let them do it because we are a total different, we are unique in character. So we are saying that build these institutions that our people can be able to utilize for the things that they depend on. If there's a clinic that does not have proper functional toilets, as a private company or as a mine, or it depends in a manner on how you want to define yourself, it becomes your responsibility to go there and assist those people because our sisters get to go to those schools. We don't come from rich families. We don't come from backgrounds where I can have that privilege of going to a private institution and then and all those things. My mother is a domestic worker.
Fees are crazy,
So you need to speak unto the aspirations of the people who are subjected to those conditions. So we are going to go aggressively in terms of us making sure that we prioritize the broader interests of what affects the youth of South Africa.
The ANC is mum on immigration.
Sure.
The DA is clear. I'm not sure. I don't want to misquote them.
Yes.
And then the EFF is saying, let's document them. South Africans are saying, Abahambi.
Yes.
It's the truth.
Yes.
South Africans are saying,
Absolutely.
Abahambi. Nina nitin.
who are you to stand against the will of the people? If the people are saying that
I'm the advanced detachment of
you can't.
of society. I foresee.
So what we are
I'm Karl
saying,
Marx, and
there's-
I foresee.
there's no such-
using the tools of analysis.
There's no such a
of
thing.
analysis.
There's no such a thing like called a because these people, like, the reason why they get to recklessly utter such views on immigration is because many of them are detached from the lived realities that directly affect our people in our communities. The reason why they come with these so-called superior perspectives is because when our people on the ground are saying that these people are selling drugs to young people, they have captured student accommodations, or properties rather, which could have been meant for student accommodation. Our sisters in our communities are used for sex trafficking. And these people, they are undocumented. Whenever they get to commit these crimes, they are not held accountable. And senior government officials are actually also in the pockets of some of these people who get to do wrongdoing. Go to the community. The people in the communities are saying that even the little spaces which could have assisted us to create our own economy, to open tech shops that government can regulate, to sell the little things, because the unemployment crisis, the ANC has failed to address that.
But these people have children now. Yeah. They have girlfriends now.
And Tina has Tina. Tina City, we stand with the people of South Africa against their fight of undocumented foreigners. Ashiye umntwanakhe.
Yeah.
We are saying,
I'm a Zimbabwean.
Okay.
Ne? I met Tuntom Zodwa.
Yes.
I impregnated
They
her.
do that deliberately, by the way.
The impregnation.
Yes, they do that because they know and this is why we are saying that somehow, the Constitution of the Republic, it has its own limitations as well, which will then compel me and you to come back and sit again and discuss in terms of how can we then improve certain bylaws which will get to protect our own sovereignty as a country. Because why am I saying that? They know that if I come from Nigeria, Nigeria, for example, I'm undocumented, and I get to impregnate someone who is South Africa, automatically, South Africa says that if you are born in South Africa, 100% beneficiation goes to your child. So they do that deliberately. It's a strategy of infiltrating our economy.
So at the same time, South Africans are allowing these people to sleep with them, and then at the same time,
I personally don't think South Africans are doing that.
It's economic situation.
I personally don't think South Africans are doing that because there's over 170,000 cases of rape which have been opened by our sisters, which till today
and linked
till today, yes,
to our brothers.
Yeah, so I personally don't even think our sisters, because we can't degenerate the because that is how these comrades are saying that they are raping our sisters. These people, I can tell you, they are raping our sisters. They are even bullying our sisters in their townships. Do you know that there are many houses in our communities which has been hijacked by these people doing some of the things that we're speaking to now?
I heard that story, so way to food.
Where where our people and have even lost the power to even hold these people accountable, because law enforcement is also not responding effectively on some of these grievances that our people are raising. They've captured all these things.
All police vans stop.
Yeah.
And Coke.
Yes. So who are we to stand against the will of our people when our people are raising some of these genuine concerns? You can't claim to be a leader of society if you don't take mandate from the people that you claim to lead. And that is why Tina City, as Africa Maibuye movement, will not want to be an organization that does not take direct mandate from the people.
So ngendlela understander ngayo the source of your actions is South Africans. The day South Africans are saying, actually, you know what, abahlali, Maibuye will say abahlali.
Because we are leading South Africans. We are leading South Africans. We are not leading any other people that... yes, we might be speaking onto many other issues, but the people of South Africa come first.
Yeah.
And we are not prepared to betray the aspirations, the interests, and the broader challenges that affect the people on the ground. And you know what makes Africa Might Be
Including
unique?
in the diaspora.
It's because on the 19th of June 2025, before we took a posture to either form a party, because the people of South Africa are saying that, hey, lama political parties maningi, man, and all of them are the same. So the question was, is there a need to do so? And across the country, because the incoming president of South Africa, Comrade President Nico Floyd Chivambo,
Yeah.
has undergone has crisscrossed this country
Yeah.
in speaking to the people. And 90% of them said, yes, we need an alternative because the ANC government in particular has failed to address some of these things for the past 32 years.
Yeah.
And some of these other organizations are not even organizations. They're personal projects of these individuals, whom in their majority are just in the pursuit of enriching themselves using these political fiefdoms as mechanisms to extort businesses and lie to our people. So these other things, like, I would not want to speak about them, but we can characterize them as they are. We know that the EFF is a personal project. We know that Mkhonto Wesizwe is a family project that is centered around Jacob Zuma and his kids. Decisions are taken in a dinner table.
So we won't see that with who's the brother of Floyd, Brian. We won't see that.
No.
He will be the deputy appointed.
Like, and you know, in my boy, because we believe in democratic centralism,
Yeah.
where we constructively engage.
Yeah.
In particular, when it comes to appointments and all of those things, we sit like this in a boardroom and screen the profiles of people, and we get to speak unto their names there.
Ow.
There's no one who comes with a tailored list from a toilet somewhere and says that I want Kia to be a leader.
Yeah.
of
Or you
my
were
boy.
scrutinized.
You are, yeah. They do deal with
I'm
you
saying
then.
you.
Yeah,
They
yes,
they
we deal with
assessed
then.
you
and
there.
everyone is
Yeah.
given an opportunity to contribute in terms of the broader question, which speaks to the responsibility that the organization has identified that you need to play. So there's no leader of Maibu who can come and say that there's a tailored made
arrangement.
and that is why we're even saying now the organization, because we also believe that the religious institutions in our communities also have a far much more senior contribution to make.
Yeah.
If you want to be a councillor now of Africa Maibuye movement, you must be known by all churches in your ward. You must be known by all traditional leaders in your ward.
Yeah.
Because we don't want imposters here and criminals and gangsters who masquerade wearing revolutionary caps during the day and at night. They extort people.
So all churches must know you.
All churches must know you.
All religious institutions,
Yeah.
whether in Dumba, yini,
Mele bakwazi.
Mele bakwazi.
Lo muntu lo singamthemba lo.
Umuntu lo
Lo muntu
singamthemba.
can be given that particular responsibility to play and represent the interests of our people. Because now, the IEC has also done a study, and then it says that 9% of the people of South Africa have confidence in ward councillors. So what
As a personal figure.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, our people,
irrespective of
9% of the people of South Africa have confidence in councillors. So the 91%, they're saying that these people are bars, but we don't have confidence in them because we elect you today. You start your term of office for the next 5 years. We don't even see you convening even one community meeting.
you even change locations.
We don't know. We've not heard from you. We are Puma. You go and stay in Sentin there, and you are no longer embedded in the community struggles which speak to us, and you get to preside over certain decisions in council, which are not our direct mandate. So it's going to be a difficult election season because our people generally of South Africa, and legitimately so, have lost confidence in the political system. And that is why we as Africa Maibuye movement, we don't really call or characterize ourselves or define ourselves as a political party. We are a movement. That is why we speak to religious leaders, traditional leaders, even in the consultation process. A group of people, professionals came, students, the youth came, and we had a broader, far much more comprehensive engagement with, consent citizens of South Africa in terms of how do we then organize ourselves in terms of, being a true alternative that responds to the cries of the people of South Africa.
Okay. No. Yeah, no. You are well informed.
Yeah.
You are well informed, and I see passion in it. I have to give you that one. Who are you?
I mean, I'm just a boy who comes from a very humble background as well. Come from a township where some of the things that I speak unto, it's things that I interact with on a daily basis. So when I speak about someone who goes to bed hungry, it's someone that I get to interact with. If I speak about the potholes, the crisis that affects our people pertaining to, ecology which are not maintained properly, I'm that direct person. Of course, we got to pursue our academics elsewhere as well. So I am a master's graduate